What's up guys, this is Ollie and another adventure has made it to the Rivengard land. After a couple of ups and downs and bugs that we had to fight through to finally get our game going in this adventure, we even got 10 extra tickets. We can now run through all of these encounters with Areus, the headmaster of the Radiant Order faction. Since he happens to be a mage and light and he's also ranged, there's gonna be a couple of encounters that have like almost impossible to fulfill victory conditions. So our goal for this adventure was not getting the max score, it was getting the second highest chest unlocked. And that's something that I can show you how to do. So let's not waste any more time and look at the common encounter number 1. In this one we have to get a lightning victory, nothing new here, and we cannot take any damage. And you know what that means. No damage always means summon strategies or outright killing everybody. But more often than not, summoning is the way to go. So we have a summon on the right hand side, courtesy of our Granny Bones. And then we want to move Granny away a little bit, because if we stay in that position that she's right now and the skeleton is not strong enough, there's actually a chance that one of the arrow guys, bow and arrow guys, is going to shoot her instead of shooting at somebody else. But this also works. You can just go for this, then kill as many guys as possible, and then you clean up with Silver Root, and that basically gives you the lightning victory and the perfect points here. Alright, that's it for the first encounter. On to the next one. In encounter number 2 we already see my favorite victory condition, which is playing heroes from the Radiant Order faction. But it's not that bad. It's not that bad. You can build them up as strong commons. You can also build them up as strong uncommons. It only gets really complicated once you have to have them at rare or higher. So now I'm looking forever to find my Radiant Order heroes, because they are very low towards the bottom, because my heroes are sorted by power level. Eventually I'm feeling like, this is it. Alright. So what are we doing here? We're going obviously with Areus as an opening. And then you want to clear a path for Sigrid, because then she can use the Hammer of Justice. So I'm thinking about this and I'm like, wait a second, we can do this a lot smarter. So Monty's taking out the strongest hero and then Sigrid goes in. And now this is basically one. We can add 2 more horses and that's a lightning victory without taking any damage on our first round. Alright, next one. In common encounter number 3 we cannot take any damage, but that's basically it, which means we can play whoever we want. So this could take a little while until I found my hero selection. So let's see. Basically you want to go with Nimrod, because there's already like this corner here which is very inviting for Nimrod. Then you want to have summons, which means you want to bring in Grandma Bones, and then on top of that Gix is also pretty good when it comes to creating some summons. So you place Granny close to where the enemies are going to go down. Then Nimrod is cleaning even more of these guys. I mean, look at this. This is quite the straightforward picture. Then we have these 3 mages lined up, so Areus can take them out. This looks like a walk in the park. And then Granny is still has her active, and the only enemy she can affect is the arrow guy. Well, what's the name of that? Archers. Archer is the word I'm looking for. So she's taking out the archer after some assist from Krina Crashru. And now we have like 400 summons and 1 enemy. So I think we can get the job done here. So Nimrod goes in and he wipes the board. And that's it. Pretty straightforward level, at least if you have these units. Nimrod is really, really strong, in case you didn't know. Which already takes us to the uncommon encounters, where we are being locked into playing mages. Oh no, mages, these very weak units that never create a summon ever. So after giving this a tiny bit of thought, I'm going with my summoning all-star team, which is basically Queen Akeshru and Granny, I thought, but then I saw, wait a second, there's a couple of summons on the board, so we can actually go with Ranaklu here. Ranaklu is an absolute all-star in this level, and we are going to see why in just a second. We can first take out some enemies here with Areus, and then we see Ranaklu, he turns 1 summon into something else, and then we have presence on the board, and then we just have to get in with Ranaklu again, and the other summon turns and we win. Pretty easy level if you happen to have Ranaklu. You don't necessarily have to have Queen Akeshru, but she helps. In uncommon encounter number 2 we need to rely on light heroes, which is not a big problem as long as they don't need to be ranged, because there's a good light hero. There's actually several good light heroes here. Tanamu is my favorite unit in the game, everybody knows this by now, so she's a good choice. And then after giving this a bit more thought, I want to bring in Yasmin whenever I can, because Yasmin happens to buff our other units, and on top of that she can also heal a unit if something goes wrong. So we want to have summons on the board, so that's basically where Sir Matt comes in. Then we can already see that Tanamo can connect with these guys on the other hand, on the other side, So we just want to set them up for a kill. We don't have to use the active of Tanamo, which is very strong. And this looks like we're in a pretty good position. Now the only question is, can the horses take enough hits without falling, which then means that our other units are not getting attacked. So now we can see where this is going. We can take one out with Areus himself. Then we can create yet more horses. And I mean, look at this. This is pretty straightforward. So this is only a bit of a question in terms of positioning. What you want to do is you first want to place Zermatt. Then you want to place Tanamo, so you're not risking that the path is getting blocked. And then you can go in with Tanamo, and then you have 3 horses versus 1 opponent. Yeah. Alright, next one, next level. Pretty straightforward. Speaking of straightforward, this is also true for uncommon encounter number 3. So in this we need to play ranged heroes, which is one of my favorite victory conditions in the world, because it means we can play Granny, we can play Giggs, we can play Queen Akeshru, which means summons everywhere. It's going to be summons, and if we play a lot of summons, we usually don't tend to take a lot of damage. So we open this up with Tim, just a bit of setup, killing 1 guy, 2 guys, which gives us 2 skeletons. So we got a bit of board presence already. Then we can think about for a second, where are we going in with Areus? And it looks like Giggs is just like, this is just too sweet for him. So we go in with Giggs. Don't get a summon here, but we don't need to because we have frogs now. Then the Chain Lightning takes out yet another unit. This guy at the very top we can ignore because he's surrounded by summons. I mean, yes, he could in theory attack us, but the computer rarely does this. So after this, we're going in with the special of Queen Akeshru. We get another summon. This time it's a Shade. We want to keep things a bit like spicy and shake things up. And then again, we are in yet another situation where we have roughly 400 summons versus 1 or 2 opponents. And the only question now is, can we get the Lightning victory? Fortunately for us, there's a crit hit. I'm not sure if we could have done it without the crit hit, but generally speaking, this seemed like yet another very straightforward encounter. With that, we are on to the rare encounters, where we have to play ranged heroes that also happen to be light heroes. So this should be the best squad, in my personal opinion. You might want to play Hana instead if your Hana is very strong, but Darcy has the advantage of damaging one enemy right away after he spawns, after the match starts. So Darcy can take 1 guy out, and then with Areus I only want to hit the guy in the middle, the mage, because these frost sorceresses, if that's their name, they are not known to immediately go in hard. Look what I just said. So here I'm making a misplay, because the correct move now would be for Areus to move onto the healing pad, and quite honestly I have no idea why I didn't do this. Like, looking at this right now, I'm like, I should play this level again, and I think this would be a way better move. So what I was going for, I wanted to be tricky. I wanted to use Monty to push the Frost Sorceress back, so then the Chain Lightning hits everybody. This sounds like a really good strategy in theory, but we see that it's not doing all that much. I really should have played this differently. So move Areus onto the healing pad, then go for the Chain Lightning, take out the Frost Sorceress from a distance with Monty, and you might get a perfect score here. Rare encounter number 2, on the other hand, is one of these levels where you see my score was 0 points, and I have made a video of it, which usually means that I finished it on my first attempt. So this is a very straightforward run. You only have to play mages. So there's a very good chance that it's going to take me a while to select some good mages. These are good mages here, and then we can hit things off. So we are going with Tim. Tim almost wipes the board. A lot of guys are falling already. Then we want to follow this up with Queen Akeshru. We damage everybody. They don't go down, but that's alright. They are in darkness now, which is fine because we also happen to play Ranaklu. And now look at this. This is like a melting pot where there's like infinite opponents, and the opponents are surrounded by just so many attackers. This is really, really straightforward. We can see this here. We can even choose how to take out this other guy. So very easy lightning victory for us if you happen to have these units. Then it's relatively straightforward. Rare encounter number 3 is not one of these hole-in-one levels where I just succeeded on the first attempt, and you can see that. Why? Because we have to play Radiant Order. So I try to max my score here, which means I'm selecting units for like 5 hours, and then eventually this encounter is off to the races. So Monty can take out 1 enemy. Then you normally, like looking at this, I would prefer to move Areus onto the bridge, because then the Frost Golem in the corner can only connect with Areus, generally speaking. You also want to heal your horses, so the horses are staying around for longer. You kinda have to do all of this setup in the way that I did here, at least in my personal opinion. because otherwise the sorceress in the middle is starting to summon a very, very strong mage, and this guy could be a big problem because we need to get rid of these guys. So now we are in a pretty bad situation because we need to get rid of all of these mages, and it just so happens that most or even all of our attackers happen to be ranged attackers. So we need to like get creative, think about how do we get out of this situation, and we're very lucky with a crit hit here. So I got no complaints. Then there's still too many units on the board. We can go for a heal here and then just attack, and that's pretty much it. So you can see this is not going well. We do have 3 more turns, so in theory this should be fine, but now the bridge has been burned in the most literal sense. So we cannot connect with these enemies, so we can just continue to heal and stay in the back. And our units are taking a lot of damage here. There's no real chance of getting back at these opponents. I thought this is a really smart idea to get him out of the bush before I realized I cannot connect with him anymore. So this level is not going well. I just continue with my like hit them and heal strategy. And now finally, this looks like we could go for a lightning victory. And I thought like, wait a second, I could actually win this. I can go for the group heal. I think I could have even brought Sir Matt back. And then if this chain lightning would have killed everybody, we would have actually won this with a lightning victory, even after making so many misplays. So I think there's something there. There is a chance that this is actually an okay strategy and not completely terrible. For this level, I really would not have minded if I had 14 turns to get a lightning victory, because it's really hard to get that level done in time, at least for me and my squad. Alright, but 400 points, it's not that bad. Gets us closer to that chest. Things are looking way better in rare encounter number 4 because we can bring mages, and mages happen to be ranged heroes more often than not if they happen to be good. So there's a chance that I'm gonna need a few minutes. Oh no, actually I played this level a couple of times until I got it right. So the hard thing here is getting the lightning victory. So you want to bring in Granny because Granny can again generate skeletons, and then you want to create as many summons as humanly. I mean, you're not playing humans half the time. Like, I'm not even sure what Granny is. She's like an undead zombie creature, but you want to get as many summons on the board as possible because these summons take the damage away from you. So now we have a pretty good setup, and we can put Areus on the healing pad. This also turned out to be quite strong. Then we want to move in with Granny, and we want to use our ranged attackers. Tim does a lot of damage here because most of our opponents are next to water. So then we want to get in with the Darkness Dragon, create yet more pressure, take everybody out, and now this is looking pretty good. So we have a lot of summons on the board. We just now have to make sure that we get over the bridge in time because we only have 3 more turns for the lightning victory. So now it's time to move our units like push forward. The correct move here is go with Queen Akesho because she creates a summon in the distance because we need summons. I think I mentioned this. And Granny is now locked. Granny cannot go over the bridge, but that is fine. So since we still have summons, the enemy is not attacking us, and now we have 2 more turns, there's only 1 more summon, and that means we are winning this. So this was kind of hard to figure out. I really liked this puzzle, enjoyed this one a lot, and in the end we did get the lightning victory, and I hope you are gonna get a perfect score too with this little walkthrough. In rare encounter number 5, we are only locked into playing light heroes, which more often than not is not the biggest problem because it means I can bring my Tanamo. This is one of those encounters that I really enjoyed playing, I have to say. So I really like the level design. I just needed forever to think about my strategy because I basically ran through the entire level before I even started playing. So Yasmin. This is a really good move. Moving Areus to the right hand side means these guys get damaged and they can only connect with Areus. Now you want to go into the middle with Tanamo, but before you do that you want to make sure that Aradel gets out of the shrub. So that's where Monty comes in. Then you can play a little bit of cleanup. So basically the middle is handled, the right side is handled. Now the only problem for you is the left hand side, and this is where Sir Matt can get in. So now we have summons on the board. You've seen this before, you've heard this before, and it's only 1 summon, but that's fine. We're even collecting some loot on the side. So now we have 3 more turns to get the lightning victory and take everybody out. So we want to get Areus back in the game and also heal him with Yasmin because he happens to be a good unit and he happens to be the only damaged unit. So enemies are still busy with our Sir Matt summon, and now you can see where this is going. We can basically put pressure on them. We have Areus. Areus goes for the chain lightning, and that's the lightning victory without taking any damage. Really enjoyed this level. Really cool level design if you're asking me. On to the epic encounters, and epic encounter number 1 requires us to play Radiant Order heroes, and this is a very hard encounter. I think that the strategy is pretty clear. You want to go with a Chain Lightning first, then you want to place Sigrid in this field, and then Sigrid like attacks all of these guys, and then Sir Matt is going to create summons on the right hand side, so you have a board presence and you're not getting attacked. The problem is all of my units are way too weak, so there's absolutely no chance for me to get this done. So I had to play this just with strong units in general and just went for that approach. I had some horrible runs here. You can actually combine Tanamo together with Grandma Bones. You just have to make sure that Tanamo can attack in a way where she can continue to hit opponents even when someone is standing in the way. And then you do at least get the lightning victory and you take no damage, so you get 400 out of 500 possible points. Not that bad. Epic encounter number 2 requires us to play light heroes, which is again not that much of a problem. I've seen some of you guys in the live stream of Sir Areus play with Siad. I think that's a really smart choice. I didn't even think of that. It's a unit that I don't like very much because Nako likes the unit very much and we have this little friendly rivalry going. But I think that even without Siad, this level can be beat, and I just think I need forever to select my units and then eventually we go. Okay, so Tanamo is a good unit. So Tanamo just plays cleanup on the bottom part. And now you want to make one move here. You want to look at the danger zone, and what you want to do is you want to move Areus into the danger zone, because that means that one guy is going to go down. And then after that you want to place Sir Matt, like basically get him in business already. You do not want to go for horses on turn 1. Here we can see why we did that move with Areus. And this is a pretty cool setup that we have here. So we can now place Areus on the healing tile, go for the Chain Lightning, everybody's damaged. He didn't heal yet. I don't even know why I'm going for the active of Tanamo here. I'm actually lucky that the opponent blocked, because if I'm now winning, I am not getting a perfect score, because obviously Areus would have had some damage. So that was even in my... It's actually lucky that I didn't go for the victory here. So if you are trying to recreate this, don't go for the active of Tanamo again. Just do a regular attack. And then it's going to be fine, as you can see here. So in the end, we do get the lightning victory. Everybody's at full health, full scores. In the final epic encounter, we again have to play mages, which more than often than not is not a big problem. You saw I had 0 points, so basically that means I'm going to finish this on my first attempt. So let me give this some thought, setting my units. I'm realizing that Penda is really good because there's a lot of ice baby around Penda, which means that we can immediately take out some guy, in this case Sefa, which is a quite tanky unit, but not against the Penda with 3 ice fields around him. At least if your Penda has like... You've put some work into Penda. Then we can go for the Chain Lightning here. Nobody goes down. Doesn't look that good, but that's okay because we only need a summon. So Granny is now thinking about, do we go for the active or not? We are risking it by not going for the active because we still have the Dark Dragon, and that gives us at least 1 summon. So now we had some summons on the board, and now suddenly there's a million summons on the board because all of these tadpoles or frog eggs have hatched into tadpoles. And then this is 1. I mean, Penda is just continuing to be a force to be reckoned with. When he's standing next to ice, he's almost unbeatable. Shout out to Lucky Panda. And that basically is like gets us the perfect score here. Very easy if you have a good Penda. All of that takes us to maybe the easiest legendary encounter that I have ever seen. This is my first attempt in this level. And it's not like I got all of these units, but we can play ranged units, and you know what that means. Ranged units means Gigs, means Granny Bones, means Bullmon, which is a special hint. You need to play Bullmon here. Bullmon is so good in this level, and you're going to see in a second. So I'm just thinking about where do I place everybody, and eventually... Takes like 2 minutes to set up my units, and then it takes 1 second to play this level. Alright, eventually we're feeling fine. So, we're going with Gigs, take out the back row, everybody dead, that's a good start. Then we want to move Granny in a little bit, because Granny wants to create some skeletons for us. So Granny's moved in. Now Bullmon can move in. Bullmon can heal a summon, eat a summon. Heal, it's basically healed when it's eaten, right? It's basically, okay, whatever. So, now Areus can go for the Chain Lightning. Everybody's dead. At this point I'm like asking myself, so where's the hard part in this level? So now we can go for the active of Grandma Bones. This guy's dead. There's 1 more summon on the board. There's Bullmon. Okay, that's it. So this was the absolute cheese factory if you happen to have a Bullmon and a Giggs. I mean, obviously my units are very highly leveled, but even so, This was one of the easier legendary encounters that I have ever seen. But I'm not even gonna complain, because there were a couple of encounters where we had to play ranged units that also happen to be light units, which is making up for that. Alright guys, that's basically it for this adventure already. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I was able to get the second to last chest. I have no chance of getting the last chest because I would have to put a lot of work into Ardasi or into Hannah, and I really don't plan on doing that. Don't stress yourself if you can't get a perfect score. I think it's perfectly fine to go for the second to last chest, and I hope with some of these walkthroughs you are going to be able to do the same thing. If you want to get better at Rivengard, you should absolutely subscribe to this channel. There's a lot more videos where I'm trying to break down the game for you. And special hint, if you want to get a head start, you can get 100 free gems by entering my code that is going to give you 100 free gems. I'm also getting something if you learn how to become a better player. That's why you need to watch those videos. Hope you enjoyed the show. See you guys very soon on the official Discord, where I hang out and give you some more advice. So see you guys very soon. Bye bye.